Hello everyone and welcome to another StarCraft 2 1 vs 1 game, this time another game from 2011 MLG Columbus. And before I formally introduce these players, let me go ahead and discuss the situation and what's going on. I pulled a bunch of replays from 2011 edition of MLG Columbus, and this game actually came from the open winners bracket round 3, and it put together two incredibly good players. Both these players entered round 3 with a record of 4-0, haven't dropped a game since they started the tournament. And we do have the first player, the Red Zerg player, ONEostojiy. Now, see on the North American ladder, it shows him in the Grandmaster League as rank 4, but his name there is NRG Ostojiy, so I'm not sure, because obviously right here it says 1 at the top, so I'm not entirely sure whether he switched teams, but I'm going to go ahead and assume he has moved on to One Gaming, a great team up there. But anyway, ONEostojiy is 4th in the Grandmaster League in North America with 1,291 points and a record of 396 and 152. So definitely way up there on the ladder. And looking at his drone count right now, it would lead me to think he's going to have a 15 hatch. So while we're introducing SixjaxMajor, that's probably what is going to happen up there. But anyway, on the bottom left side of this Tal'Darim Altar map, we have the blue Terran player SixjaxMajor. Formerly, yes, that's the proper word. He used to be in Root Gaming, and he went by Root Kitty, I think, or Root Princess. He had a bunch of different names before moving over to Sixjax, and it looks like he has stuck with Major. But this guy is absolutely incredible for the amount of time he has spent playing this game. I mean, didn't he start in like February or something? So definitely a newbie when it comes to like playing time, but actually a really, really, really good player. He is 15th in the North American Grandmaster League with 1,246 points, so just about 50 points behind Ostojiy. A record of 429 and 124. So that both these win ratios from both these players on the North American ladder are absolutely insane, and we do see a 15 hatch going down from ONEostojiy. Now, a little bit about this map. It's huge. Like, it's in the Blizzard map pool, and actually the Blizzard map, yeah, okay, so this, I'm not sure, yeah, this is the MLG version, obviously, because this is from 2011 MLG Columbus, so huge map. One of the biggest in the map pool. Actually, I want to say the biggest in the MLG map pool, but definitely a lot of bases you can take. This map can definitely lead to very long macro games, and honestly, that's probably what's going to happen here, considering SixjaxMajor has ended up putting down a very early command center, and his opponent has put down a very, very early hatchery. So we'll see if Ostojiy catches wind of this command center. He does have an Overlord and a pretty good scouting location. If he moves that over down to the bottom left a little bit, he should be able to scout out that command center pretty easily. But anyway, yeah, this map does lead to long macro games, so I'm really looking forward to what both these players do produce. And this Overlord could be taken on. No, maybe these Marines will wrap around this and decide to go kill that, but really dangerous to do this early in the game to lose that many Marines, because, well, the Zerg players can just get a bunch of Zerglings and surround those Marines. But we'll have to see what happens there, as it looks like Ostojiy is getting some gas. But yeah, a little bit more about these players. Once again, they have not lost a game in the winners bracket of MLG Columbus, and this will be a best of 3 to determine who advances to round 4 of the open winners bracket, and the loser of this best of 3 will go down to the losers bracket. So they're not completely out of the tournament. MLG Columbus does use a double elimination format, so if you lose in the winners bracket, yeah, it's a pretty big deal, but it's not a gigantic deal. I mean, you're still in the tournament, you still have a chance, but you have a long road ahead of you if you go to the losers bracket from here. But honestly, if either of these players get knocked to the losers bracket, I will not be surprised to see them again, because they are two incredibly good players, and it just luck of the draw that they got matched this early. Anyway, let's go ahead and discuss what is going on. We do have another queen down at Ostoji's natural as well as in his main, and that is how you pronounce his name. It is Ostojiy. I did talk to him because he has partaken in a couple of Go for SC2 Cup North American tournaments. I cast those tournaments every Sunday, so definitely tune into those if you're interested in watching some more StarCraft 2 action. I cast those live, so very exciting cups, and yeah, Ostojiy does participate in those every once in a while, and I have stumbled across his name before, but no more, because I actually know how to say it. It looks like 2 Marines are being stranded by their commanding officer, SixjaxMajor, trying to take control of the watchtowers, but these Zerglings will have none of that, and we'll get the 2 surrounds and eliminate both of these Marines quite easily. Not sure if that was a misclick from SixjaxMajor, or if he was just trying to take the watchtower. I'm not too sure. But back in SixjaxMajor's base, we do have 2 additional barracks going down behind this natural expansion and behind one existing barracks, I should say, along with a factory and a tech lab researching siege mode ASAP. So, oh no, it looks like this wall was not actually a wall. Lots of gaps in that wall over there. So, SixjaxMajor finds himself in a little bit of trouble to begin with here. He's bringing SCVs to the main from the natural... Okay, so that was really interesting. Basically, he just switched the mineral lines. That was really weird. I'm not sure what that was about, but anyway, OWB definitely doing a lot of damage with these Zerglings in SixjaxMajor's base. Also, he is getting a lot of intel on what his opponent is doing, so definitely pretty good scouting for our energy. OWB in SixjaxMajor is now killing his own command center, so possibly some nerves getting in here for him. Definitely a few missteps so far in this game, losing those Marines, not constructing this wall correctly, just switching the mineral lines, and then killing his own command center. So SixjaxMajor needs to get his head back into the game. But anyway, yeah, I'm wondering if this is walled off now. I honestly wouldn't feel safe about that. But anyway, let's go and look at OWB's base. He does have a lot of drones at his natural and in his main. 51 drones total to the 32 of his opponent. So SixjaxMajor does find himself at an early deficit right now, and it looks like OWB is going to try to take a hidden expansion. We'll see how that pays off for him. I guess he doesn't feel like knocking down those rocks because, well, I guess this expansion is a little bit towards your opponent, so maybe he's a little bit scared of expanding at that location at this time. But as I say, that he is breaking down those rocks, so we may see that in the near future. And we also have a Spire and a Baling Nest along with an Evolution Chamber going down from ONEostojiy. I keep wanting to call him NRG OWB because I'm just so used to seeing his name in-game. I have to ask him about that later, but anyway, it looks like SixjaxMajor wants to do a little bit of a push here. He has quite a few Marines and 3 tanks, and is Baneling Speed even started? Or no, the Baneling Nest just finishes, so Baneling Speed is not done, so this could be a little devastating. Oh yeah, like Terran players... Okay, one thing about this map, Terran players love to abuse the terrain. Of course, there's high ground here, and if you can get some tanks here with some high ground vision with medevacs, you can do so much damage to this natural mineral line of your Zerg opponent. But anyway, it looks like OWB wants to do some damage here. He's bringing some Zerglings in, about 20, and SixjaxMajor will hold his ground and try to defeat these Zerglings, but I'm not sure if that will be effective. It looks like he will lose some Marines and some tanks, but some Marines on the high grounds will clean this up, I would imagine. Also, a siege tank should discourage OWB from continuing forward, but it looks like OWB also has some Mutalisks coming forward, and there are honestly no turrets anywhere in sight. Is there even an engineering... Okay, so there is an engineering base. Sorry about that, but I don't see any turrets on the field. There we go. SixjaxMajor is starting to put down those turrets to protect from the Mutalisk harassment. So, not sure about that decision by OWB to reveal those Mutalisks when all he got were a couple of kills, if any, on those Mutalisks. So yeah, I don't see any kills on those Mutalisks, so not sure about that decision. It looks like Major, very proactive with his scouting, does discover this hidden expansion, so we'll have to see how he reacts to that. He is continuing to produce plenty of tanks. He's only on 1 factory though, so definitely not a pure mech build, and also has 2 medevacs coming out from this lone starport, and also a medevac right here. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of drop plays, so I'm going to be kept on my toes here. I'm going to keep a mental eye on this medevac on my minimap, so I'll keep that in mind as that ventures across the map, and it is going to head towards OWB's hidden third. And it looks like he may actually spot this medevac, and he does, so he definitely knows what's up, should be able to put some spine crawlers at his third since he knows that is coming. But it looks like Major is deciding to turn around after being seen. Of course, that eliminates the element of surprise, which is so important when you are doing medevac drop line. Looks like a lone Marine is trying to venture forward, trying to be a hero and to destroy the Zerg Overmind on his own, but unfortunately was killed by a Zergling. So that Marine not entirely effective. Perhaps did get a little scouting information on how many creep tumors there were, and that's the only thing I can imagine. But looks like OWB is being extremely proactive with his Zerglings, running them around everywhere. They must be getting extremely tired, but I don't think Zerglings get tired because this is a video game. And wouldn't that be crazy if those Zerglings had like a fatigue meter where they can only run a certain distance before self-imploding? But thank God that isn't here, because that would be imbalanced. Anyway, it looks like SixjaxMajor is gearing up to put down his third at the same time that OWB is putting down this fourth. So this game is looking pretty even indeed. If anyone would be ahead right now, it would be OWB, considering he does have the supply lead of 134 to 118. Let's go ahead and look at the income tab, and oh my gosh, look at that harvester count. 78 harvesters for ONEostojiy and 57 for SixjaxMajor. So definitely ahead in the harvester count is our Zerg player. And we do have a lot of stuff going on in the production tab. Let's go ahead and highlight some of that. We do have a second factory coming up for SixjaxMajor, along with some add-ons to his Marines. He does have, or to his barracks, I should say. He does have 2 reactors. Adding on to those, along with the tech lab and some re-maneuvering with them. But it looks like we have an engagement here. Oh no! ONEostojiy does not want to engage all those Marines with just Marines, or with just Zerglings and Mutalisks. He does have some Banelings coming forward though, so if he can connect with his Banelings, that would be huge. But Sixjax prematurely splitting his Marines just in case those Baneling would connect, and I do have my eye on the minimap. It looks like we have a little blue medevac coming up here, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Do not want to miss any drop play. I know SixjaxMajor loves his drop plays. He's extremely good with his multitasking, but it looks like it will be spotted. I'm looking at the minimap, and we may have an engagement here. A huge fungal growth going on every single one of those Marines, and they will all explode, and stalling them at the same time from those Banelings. And at the same time, we do have a drop coming forward from SixjaxMajor and one on this side over here. So SixjaxMajor definitely everywhere. I'm going to try to stay on top of this as best as I can. And SixjaxMajor deciding not to engage there because he was discovered, but he's using that as a distraction to put a drop over here. So SixjaxMajor definitely being proactive with all of his medevacs, with all of his units. His APM is probably through the roof. Yeah, I'm looking at the APM tab. It is 170 to 200 right now, so both these players definitely up there on the APM tab. It looks like SixjaxMajor may have temporarily forgot about it, but no, he comes back here. Oh, they immediately get fungal growth, so only one Marine is actually shooting at this hatchery, I should say. So that drop definitely not paying for itself. I guess Major lost track of that. And it looks like we do have a drop on the low ground over here. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that. Maybe just lowering his Marines so he can heal them up before choosing to engage with them again. It looks like we have a push from SixjaxMajor. He does have 4 tanks and about 20 Marines here, so would be interesting to see what he ends up doing with this push. And wow, this game is amazing so far, ladies and gentlemen. Action going on every part of this map. We do have a drop on the right side. They were fungal growth, so ONEostojiy is definitely handling that correctly. Infestors are so good in this game. Here we go, Marines coming forward, shelling down this main. At the same time, we have a counter at the third of SixjaxMajor. The Zerglings are going to try to take down the Planetary Fortress, but unfortunately they will be blown up by Marines and the Planetary Fortress. At the same time, we have this hatchery being killed, so SixjaxMajor definitely being effective with this push. Ostojiy choosing not to engage that just yet. Does have a nice round going on though, so if he does decide to retreat, he will be able to deal with that quite easily. And we do have a very injured medevac over here, but it looks like he's just chilling, and there's a truce going on between that infestor and that medevac. So we'll have to keep an eye on that evolution of relationship over here while we do have a push still continuing from SixjaxMajor. It looks like Ostojiy wants to engage, moves forward with all his Zerglings, Mutalisks, a couple of Banelings, and some infestors. He does get some heat and fungal growths on there, going on top of all those Marines and making them implode, but 4 tanks remain. But honestly, as a Zerg player, if you can get rid of those Marines, you can just sweep everything with those Mutalisks. So that is definitely Ostojiy's goal right here, to get rid of those Marines so that all he needs are Mutalisks to take care of everything else. Looks like we have a push going toward, I don't even know what to call this base anymore. I have been calling it the third. I'll just call it the Hidden Expo. We do have a push going toward the Hidden Expo, but it's not hidden anymore, so I guess I really can't call it that. We have a push going toward the top right expansion of NRG Ostojiy as these 2 tanks are fleeing as fast as they can home, being pursued by these Mutalisks, and these tanks aren't good enough to point their cannons up and shoot at them, and they would probably miss anyway. And at the same time, we do have not a drop, but a partition of the army coming forward to harass this third, I'm going to call this the third from Ostojiy, and this hidden expansion, this expansion on the top right side of the map is getting engaged, but at the same time we have an engagement at the bottom left. Some Zerglings are coming forward and trying to kill all these units, and they will. Some really good fungal growths coming down from NRG Ostojiy, or I keep calling him NRG, I apologize, ONEostojiy, but he finds himself behind right now because he is behind 167 to 135 food, and he is about to lose this expansion at the top right. And at the same time, these Marines are deciding they have done enough shooting for the time being, but as the Zerglings come in, they will shoot those and they will get cleaned up. So SixjaxMajor is in the lead, I would say, right now, ahead 169 to 141 food. Let's look at what is going on in their respective bases, since there is not much going on the rest of the map. It looks like we have a huge drone transfer coming down from Ostojiy. Not sure where they're going. Okay, they're going over here, so that makes sense. But Major is going to try to go for a flank attack. We'll have to keep an eye on that force over there. But what is he doing in his base? He does have some Broodlords out, so this is definitely getting to the late game. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we are at 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this game and hope I didn't go over. This game is so exciting, but I'm putting a link in right here, and if this is going too long, the link would be before, so you wouldn't even be seeing this because it's too long and I'd have to edit it out anyway. So thanks for watching, and tune into the next game. Thanks for watching. This is MLG Columbus 2011 Round 3 Open Winners Bracket action.